Come on in here. Come on in here. And by the way, before all right, I'm waiting for more y'all get in here before I give this public disclaimer. I'm gonna start off, and I'm probably going to say this again as people come into the chat room. But if you're watching this on the replay, anybody in the chat room yet, let me say this first to the part. I don't give a fuck about no Mavericks. This is just my most comfortable hoodie. This is like a practice hoodie from the Dirt and the Whiskey era that I got. And this shit is comfortable than a motherfucker. So this don't mean shit, all right? Laker fan, and Phoenix got cheated today. I didn't even realize this is the match. I'm so used to putting this thing on. So I'm gonna start off by saying that I don't want to hear none of that Go Mavericks shit in my chat room. Fuck the Mavericks. This fake ass deification of Luka. He's cool, but he ain't all that. They put Chris Paul in hella foul trouble. What's up, Evan? They put Chris Paul in all kind of foul trouble to push this bullshit ass Luka narrative. But what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? I've been having goddamn sinuses today. What y'all talking about in the chat room? But y'all see the way they rig these NBA games. He said Vernon Maxwell smashed up boy his face. Yeah. Yeah. You said the K-Dot grift is strong? What do you mean by that, Todd Tyler? Usually you don't be saying no bullshit in my chat room. Usually you be on point. I, I want you to, what do you mean by the K-Dot grift? Like, you mean that the song? I keep hearing about his new song. I haven't heard it yet. The Hard Part 5? Okay, yeah, I gotta go on that. I just finished Incense and Ashtrays, celebrating black music. Whenever K Dot's album drops, I'm going to do a review on the album. I will be reviewing K Dot's album. I will be doing that sometime after it drops. Maybe not right away, but within a week or two of it dropping. I'm going to listen to it a few times before I review it. Like I like to really get into an album before I give it a review, so I can get into some of the coded messages within it. You said the video was dope. What's up, Kenneth Berry? Yeah. I said the video got his face sitting between Ye, Nipsey, and Kobe. Well, that's cool. Will Smith and Jesse, okay. When it comes to level of entertainer, level of greatness, Kendrick's at the top. He's one of the greatest artists we've ever seen. If Kendrick Lamar never released another album, never did another video, never did another project, he has more than enough in the can to be put up there alongside the greats like Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye. He's on that plateau. Ice Cube, Nas. Kendrick is on that plateau up there with those guys. Barry White, Isaac Hayes, Lionel Richie. He's up there with those guys. See, I don't spend too much time separating black music because our music comes from the same root. So I don't spend too much time of course, R&B and hip hop are separate genres, but they're just it's like how different are you than your brother or your sister? Still got the same mother, you know? It's just black culture expressed through rap. versus Teddy Pendergrass expresses black culture through singing. Kendrick Lamar's on that level. He's up there with Teddy P. He's up there with Rakim. He's up there with Outkast. So he's up. So if he want to put himself on the video next to those faces, I have no issues with it. Yeah, Al Green's up there. That nigga said, "You see, everybody got a think piece on the track already." See, I'm not gonna come out with the. I'm not gonna come out with the breaking it down right away because you don't want to be prisoners of the moment. You know. Although so far Kendrick Lamar has proven throughout his career that his stuff is as hot 10 years after it was released than it was as it was the day he released it. So got to give it up to the God. I will be going to go look at that video though sometime tonight though. I spent all day with my mother, my mama, and then I just did incense and ashtray, so I haven't had a chance to look at shit like that yet. And that shit is kind of salute to you in the chat room, but you having Kevin Samuels rip and his picture in your profile, that shit is kind of throwing me off. Like, every time I see that picture, everything like, oh shit, Kevin Samuels, oh he ain't here no more. That was kind of rough, man. I was thinking about Kevin Samuels earlier, like, man, he was somebody I was looking forward to disagreeing with for the next 15, 20 years. You know? Mm. He left an impact on his earth, tell you that much. Yeah. Also shows you how real YouTube is. YouTube is the mainstream. You see these mainstream people come to YouTube all the time and get no traction. That's one thing I like about the YouTube audience. YouTube audience is real, man. Y'all want somebody you can feel. I like that. I appreciate that. Yeah. Of course, Sugar Free has mad influence over Kendrick. He's West Coast. If you from the West Coast, nigga, Sugar Free got influence over you. If you from my generation and from the West Coast, excuse me, y'all. What's up, Court? Of course, Sugar Free got influence. Look, man, like again, when it comes to our artists, when it comes to our art and what we do as a people, we got to stop this whole ranking system. Go to incenseandashtrays.com and listen to tonight's episode. I was on one tonight breaking down black music over the last 100 years. But back to what I was saying. You gotta understand, Europeans see this shit as a hierarchy. It's not a hierarchy. It's a plateau. You know? And on black people's plateau of greatness, we have many. Where we get screwed up is we get in this whole hierarchy thing, trying to put one of our greats ahead of the next. And we start ranking like that, that automatically, that intrinsically puts it to where you have to demean somebody in order to put someone else up. You see how it go? You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You do not have to do that, black people. It's a lot of people that can be great at the same time. We have like me. Like greatness is whatever your metric is. Some people's metric is, bars. But what are you listening? Me, Todd, and Snaps had this conversation last Monday. And they was talking about bars. I was like, we was talking like Busta Rhymes and people like that. I was like, okay, what good is a bar if the bar has no substance? If you got all them bars, but you're not saying anything that's going to improve the condition of the people listening to you, that's not going to make them think. If your bars aren't constructive to a point to where it's going to put a thought in somebody's mind, no one ever talks about Ice Cube's bars, but Ice Cube's bars put a thought in my mind as a 10-year-old. When I heard "Who's the Mac," is that brother in a big hat trying to get any bitch with a good rap, or is that man that's at the gas station begging for money? Who's the Mac? Is the person that runs the corporations? Who is the Mac? See, if your bars don't inspire a consciousness, how good are the bars? So again, it goes down to what you want. I got my man. I'm telling y'all right now, these Apple headphones are the shit. These AirPod Maxes, but you're right. That's what he said. Like white rappers, they swear they got bars because they rhyme every word in the bar. Exactly. Is it really a bar just because you rhymed a bunch of words together? Okay, at the end of the day, what did it say? So us as people, we got so much greatness inside of us. We got so many greats around us. We spend all day arguing over which great was greater instead of just enjoying the greatness. You know, like I was playing some Curtis Mayfield tonight on my show on Incense and Ashtrays, and he has a song called "We the People Who Are Darker Than Blue." And he asks a bunch of serious questions. Are we going to keep standing for the bullshit that we dealing with? You know, no, it ain't. There's not just barbershop talk. 'Cause even in the barbershop is full of substance. The barbershop talk goes from talking shit about what's going on in 1111 for knowledge. The barbershop conversation goes back and forth between talking about a whole bunch of nonsense and getting some life gain. It's always some elders in the barbershop talk some shit, but they also give you some game that you can remember that you can use that got substance. Game is intertwined in all of our music and all of our art. It's intertwined in our poetry. It's intertwined in our stand-up comedy. It's intertwined in our music. I was playing a song on Instance and Ashtrays tonight from Steve Arrington. Steve Arrington was the lead singer of Slave, but he has some dope ass music, and one of his songs was a major party song of the '80s. It's called "Nobody Can Be You But You." That song is so goddamn funky. It's a party song, but even though it's a party song, it still got a message. It's saying nobody can be you but you. So that's just how it goes. I might say, how you K? Who's a KS fan? I'm not a fan. I appreciate him for what he did, but I was never a fan. I'm a fan of none of these niggas. I appreciate people for what they do, and I can move on. I'm not a fan of nobody. You haven't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's he writes most Twitter. That's the album cover is. Yeah. Okay, you said that's what the dude in the chat. Okay, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I'll be jumping in and out and looking at the chat room. But that's something that we gotta get out of our head as a people, black folks, is this whole we gotta get that out of our head, this whole ranking our greats. You say you just smell some shit. I don't know. You work at a garbage truck facility, nigga? You a janitor? I'm telling y'all right now. I'm now the 5G thing just got over here to Gardena, so I can come to y'all. I can come to y'all live from the garage again. See here, I let her go out the man cave. Billie Holiday, Funkadelic. Yeah, coming from the garage. Yeah. JJ, stop it. You got timed out in the chat room earlier. They came back, and that was earlier today. So get over it, brother. My mods are my mods. I'm not gonna demod them. You know, we had our conversation earlier today talking about whatever we was talking about. They timed you out. They let you back in, in the chat room. You here now. Just be happy. I'm glad you brought that up, Kinsbury. That video of Jack Harlow getting carried by the two black dudes. We gotta find out who them niggas were. Were they FBA? Because one of them looked like one of them kind of had that little forehead thing going on. He might have been, from the horn over there. That Jack Harlow shit. I appreciate that Dre, that Ice Cube breakdown. Yeah. We got so much substance in our music that needs to be like while people be going around talking about bars and who got bars and bars this and bars that, who do we ever spend the time to break down the bars and ask how these bars apply to life and how we can use the bars that they gave us? Do we ever ask that question? Do we ever ask that question? I know you do. Some of us do. Hearing the people in the chat, I mean, just as a whole. One thing I appreciate about the people who listen to this show is the people that listen to the show tend to have a certain level of depth to them. And you guys, I appreciate y'all. Y'all do think, a lot of y'all. So when I pose these questions, I'm more so speaking in general. The people that the B1 family, we tend to be fairly exceptional. You know, we B1. Think about the psychology that got people like you in the chat room, me, because it's a community of us. It's not no leaders. We all in a circle with this shit. We all just trying to figure this shit out. I just happen to have a skill set. I just happen to have a skill set that allows me to vocalize the things that you guys are already thinking. But think about the psychology and the mindset it took to become a black first person. We're born in society that did anything that told us to do everything but put ourselves as priorities. So the people in the B1 section and the black first section, these are generally people who said, you know what? Damn what they say. I'm seeing a series of events, and this series of events don't seem right. And it seems as if these series of events tend to come back negatively on the people who look like me. And so for the B1 people, most people in our surroundings aren't. Most people are put their head down. Especially for those of us who really started waking up around the time of the Hidden Colors series coming out. You know, and so I was always black first before that. I just didn't know what direction to go in. Like, you know what I mean? And so over the last 10 years, if we as really, in Obama's second election had to do a lot to do with that. When we was like, man, we thought this nigga was gonna do something. We knew the nigga couldn't give us reparations. We knew he probably maybe okay that might be a little bit too much, but can Trayvon Martin get some kind of justice? You could at least do that, homie. So we were the ones asking these questions, and we were the ones that took a lot of bullets from our social circles. Like your friends of 10 years ago, a lot of them are not your friends now. You know, you've gone through a whole bunch of Thanksgivings and Christmases and New Year's Eves and family barbecues, sort of being the outcast, being the one that's a little bit different, being the one that doesn't get, that kind of gets looked at funny, but you stuck to it regardless. Now the masses are now starting to come our way, but it's starting to somewhat become in vogue now. This whole woke thing wasn't a phase; it's what they call woke. So the people that's over on this side are the people that saw certain things happening in life, and they asked a few questions, and they did something about the questions that they asked. That's why I always, have love for the people for the people who have a black first ideology. And just in case there's any punk ass, hoe ass troll in this motherfucker trying to turn around and make it seem as if B1 is a group. B1 is not a group. B1 is a mindset. It's a mindset that every group has with themselves other than black people. And that's my people first. It's not an organization. It's not a hashtag. It's none of that bullshit you sorry sons of bitches that like throwing labels out there want to put us as. And within the B1 sphere is people with differing ideologies. It's people with differing value systems. But they come together on one common goal, and that's to have black people get justice and be treated as humans and treat ourselves as humans first. And after we give our love to ourselves and give the love to each other and ourselves, then we can spread the love to everybody else. But not before we give it to us first. So I appreciate y'all. Why would you ask me what Colin Cowherd? Why are y'all listening to Colin Cowherd? He's a fucking racist. You expect Colin Cowherd to tell you the truth? I stopped listening to Colin Cowherd in 2005. Like, why would you entertain that question? Is Giannis better than Kobe? Kobe was a three-time champion by the time he was 23. The fuck? Man. Yeah, Colin Cowherd is a shock job. He ain't nobody that you discuss. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even be following him on Twitter. I don't follow Colin Cowherd or anything. And if I see his face pop up through my timeline as I'm scrolling on Twitter, I keep scrolling because other people like to retweet him. I just, okay, keep scrolling. Colin Cowherd doesn't exist in my universe. Neither does Nick Wright. Neither does Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith. I sometimes watch Stephen A. Smith from a distance, and just because sometimes he says some ridiculous things that need to be addressed for the greater good of black society. But 99% of what Stephen A. Smith says, he don't exist to me. Shannon Sharp don't exist. None of them niggas exist to me. Those are all paid people to push a narrative and push an agenda to sell you a bunch of bullshit you don't need. That's what I'm gonna leave it at that. So whatever Colin Cowherd said, fuck him, and fuck what he said. Shouts out to my man Sidney Castillo. He's right. He's a writer for that Bomani Jones show on HBO. They just got renewed for a second season. I'm supposed to be teaching. If you guys want to be a writer, if you want to learn how to write scripts, my man Sidney Castillo is doing a seminar. He's doing a webinar on Saturday about script writing. He's a writer on that Bomani Jones show. So hit me up if inbox me if you want. Or actually just don't even inbox me. Just follow Sidney Castillo. He got a blue check. If you see me on Twitter, we always going back and forth talking shit because he a Mavericks fan. Follow him if you want to do script writing. But What does that tell you, though? What does that tell you? But Bomani Jones has a sports writing, has a sports show, but it has writers. That right there tells you what you need to know about sports. Sports is scripted, so don't have some fun watching the game, drink some beer, eat some wings, smoke some weed, talk some shit, and move on. At the end of the day, fuck sports. At the end of the day, yeah. If you want to know, I'm supposed. Sydney asked me to teach a little bit on that script writing class, but it depends on the time. I told him I'm free after 12, but he's Central Time and I'm over here in Pacific Time, so I might not be able to make it. I got a meeting on Saturday that I cannot miss. Let me see here. I can't. I can't put his name in the chat, or just email me if you follow me. If you follow me on Twitter, Dwan, add me Dwan B on Twitter, and I'll show you. I'll show you. I'll get you his information. Add me on Dwan B on Twitter, and I'll do that or inbox me, and I'll give you Sydney's contact. But it's Sydney, and his last name is Castillo, Castillo. Sydney Castillo. He's a writer on Bomani Jones' show. That's my dog right there. I love that nigga right there. Matter of fact, when I used to do this show at the radio station, he came and did it. He was my first guest. He came in, and when I first got on the internet, he came and Sydney. He was also on that HBO Max special with Marlon Wayans. He's on that. He's been doing a lot of writing for Hollywood, and it's like no matter what I do, he always come out and support. And this motherfucker's like plugged all the way in the game. But real recognize real. That's my dog. So if you want to do script writing, follow Sydney Castillo on Twitter. SYDNEYCASTILLO. Yeah, thank you, Kevin Samuels Rip. That's him. Now I ain't hear the new Kendrick, but I will be. I'm telling you right now, later on this week, either later this week or sometime early next week, I will be doing a whole review on Kendrick's album once it comes out. I'm doing that on Incense and Ashtrays. I'm gonna review the album. I'm gonna play some songs and review it. Oh, what's up, Joseph? Are you watching and saw the picture? Yeah. I appreciate y'all for sending me that picture on Instagram. I'm wearing my merchandise. That made me feel good. Like, oh shit, y'all look like a beautiful ass couple with the lime green Hotepish hoodies. I appreciate y'all. Shit. I don't be bullshit when I be telling you niggas I appreciate y'all. I don't be bullshit when I say that. I mean that. This nigga Tyler said the whole South gonna give Kendrick album backhanded compliments. They be doing that, don't they? They be doing that. Uh, I appreciate you, Reg Franklin. Like I was saying, I appreciate this audience. This is what I like. I like people that appreciate information. I'm not here. I don't like to argue. And here's the funny part about it. Like in life, let me give y'all some game. It's like always you're supposed to always be willing to grow and get better. Like in my life, I just want to be the best person I can be at the end of the day. My gift just happened to be the ability to communicate. If my gift was fixing cars, I'd be doing that shit instead of this. I just know my gift and I use it. But in life, you learn lessons as you grow. And I used to, like, when I was in my teens and my 20s, man, I debated like a motherfucker. I like debate so much. I joined the debate team in college. And why is this truck going the wrong way on the street? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just outside my house looking, and this looks like it's about to be something bad. Okay, cool. They stopped. Well, anyway, I'm the kind of person like I like debating so much in my early 20s. I joined the debate team, nigga. I like debate so much. When I got my degree in communication studies. I got that so I could debate niggas. I was like, okay, I know. I was like, I know one day I'm gonna want to be a public speaker. I know that. I knew that back then. So that's why I got my degree in that. But on top of wanting to be a public speaker potentially, I like winning debates. So I took classes and joined the debate team so I could argue with niggas every fucking day and prove that I'm right. That's why I know my fallacies, my post hoc ergo proctor hoc fallacy. You know your ad hominem fallacies. Your fallacies of equivocation, and I learned all that shit so I could debate niggas. But then life teaches you something. Life teaches you it's not about debating, and it's not even about being right. It's about finding the truth. Think about that for a second. It's not about debating who's right, who's wrong. It's not necessarily about you being right all the time. It's about the truth getting the win. And so sometimes that means reinvestigating and reviewing and revisiting things that you hold true and things that you hold dear. One of the hardest things to do in life, one of the hardest things to do in life is to go against something that you always thought was true. One of the harder things to do is something that I ain't talking about some superficial shit you believe, but I mean a core truth of yours. Whether that have been some of you who left the religion or something your mother taught you that was true that you lived your life by and you saw that particular thing was holding you back from having good relationships with other people or whatever. One of the hardest things to do in life is to look in the mirror and say, I was fucking wrong. So I said all that to say I spent a lot of my 30s, late 20s, really realizing that, damn, Dwan, it's not really about always being right. It's about finding out the truth, even if the truth is something against what you have a core belief in. And that's the hardest one to face. And that's why so many people project when people say, you think you fill in the blank, that's just them not taking the time to look in the mirror and question the things that they believe true. You said something that shook that foundation. So instead of looking in the mirror and questioning that thing inside of them that's causing that disturbing vibration, they tell you you think you're, and then they're going to fill the blank in whatever their insecurity is. So if they feel like they don't know anything, they're going to say you think you know it all. If they feel like they're ugly, they're going to tell you, some of you pretty ladies in here, appreciate the super chat. They're going to tell you, you think you pretty. You think you know something just because it's. If they feel stupid, they're going to say, you just think you're smarter than everybody. So you can't live your life by that. You can't live your life by that. You just got to want to get to the truth of whatever it is. And you're not going to get to the truth of whatever things are debating people. You just got to find out. And then when you find out, and you know what happens when you start to go down that journey of finding out more, learning more? When you go down that journey of finding out what truth is, you realize that you don't know shit. And no matter how many fucking books you read, you still ain't gonna know shit. So relax on wanting to know it all and just find out what you can know. And then whatever you do know, make it useful. Don't be that person that just learned something and now you just use it to beat other people over the head with it. That ain't no what good is that kind of knowledge? Fuck beating people over the head with what you know. I'd rather you know three things that you can apply than 100 things you just gonna brag to everybody else that you know. The person who knows three things that they can apply and make functional on this planet right now to provide food, shelter, and clothing for themselves and their families, that person is more mentally rich than the person that knows 100 things and ain't applied none of it. That's how I see it. So I had to learn through the evolution of life. It's not about being right. Now on Craig Facts for the show, you guys got to remember Craig Facts is a show, so we still performing. It's still me, but I might do a debate and just start debating just because I know that you guys like it. And that's just me being a performer. I'm talented. And I'll take a fucking issue that personally I feel a two about. But on that show, it's gonna come to you guys like I feel like I'm on a 10. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm never gonna get off my base. I'm never gonna like lie to you guys or make up some shit. But if my initial reaction to what Dozy or Duncan or what Craig says, if we're at the dinner table, if we all kicking it after the show, I might